And welcome back to more Theros Beyond Death spoilers. Previews. And we definitely got a hefty brew of cards to go over today. They'll actually get more cards over the weekend, but I'm going to just save those for Monday. But first off, Stinging Lionfish, I believe actually came out last night along with, I think, the other card I'm going to talk about in just a second. But I figured it came out so late after I did the video. Wasn't going to do a video on it. Stinging Lionfish is 1 blue, 1 of any color for a 2/1 enchantment creature, uncommon fish. Fair enough. Whenever you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, you may tap an untapped non-land permanent. So this can go along with the... Oh, what's the name of it? Hold on. We talked about it yesterday. Where are you hiding at? There you are. Where are you, little horsefish? Wave Break Hippocap. This goes along in the same idea of Wave Break Hippocap, where it was whatever, that's just a spell in your opponent's turn. This is the first spell in your opponent's turn. But if you can, activate any sort of bounce spell, counter spell, whatever it is, you can untap cards, and that's fine. The only problem I see with this isn't the fact that it's cheap. It's honestly relatively well priced. Is that it's probably going to die pretty quick. That's the only problem. At 1 toughness, 2/1, it might trade with something. It might take it with it, but it's not going to be lasting very long. Arkana of the Falling Stars. 2 white, 4 of any color for a 4/4 Archon flying. When it dies, you can return an enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Look, it's a 4/4 flying for 6. Those are good stats. It's also only uncommon for a reason. Like, the fact is, this isn't a rare card. They would have had to have added another ability or mechanic on it to make it a rare card. Makes sense why this is an uncommon card. But uncommon, a 4/4 for 6 flying, that's good stats, especially because we don't have a lot of flyers right now in this set. And the fact that it will bring back an enchantment from the grave automatically, for some reason, if one of your gods ends up in the grave, it'll just bring that back. I mean, we got a lot of cards that kind of self-mill in this set, so if this dies, it'll bring back one of your gods, like Thassa, Deep Dwelling. So yeah, that's not bad at all. I like that card. If I'm in white and I get that card, I'd use it. Omen of the Sea. Now, right off the bat, I want to say all the omens are pretty good. All of them are pretty good. I think the only omen I haven't seen yet is Omen of Achilles, because I've seen Heliod's omen, I've seen Erebos' omen, I've seen Perforos' omen. I just don't think I've seen Naili's omen. But Omen of the Sea, 1 blue, 1 of any color. This actually got leaked a little while back, like when the first set of leaks came out. But enchantment, common, flash. When this card enters the battlefield, scry 2, then draw a card, and then you can sacrifice it for 3, 1 blue and 2 of any color, to scry 2. Searching for the and each one of these has its flavor text talking about my time will come when this happens. But what they mean by my time will come isn't like my time will come like I'm going to die. It seems to be more like my time will come where I will rise to true power. Like I will overthrow and be the top god on the pedestal. But either way, this is scry 2, draw 1 card, set up your draw for 2 mana, then sacrifice 3, scry 2 again. This is a great setup card. If you're in blue, you're going to play this card, no doubt. No doubt. Thassa, Deep Dwelling. By the way, again, the alternate art on these things is freaking beautiful. Thassa, Deep Dwelling is 1 blue, 3 of any color for a 6/5 legendary enchantment creature god, mythic rare. Indestructible, devotion 5 to blue. At the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 other creature you control, and then return that card to the battlefield under your control. You may pay 3 and 1 blue, tap another target creature. Well, first off, let's get this out of the way right now. More expensive than the first thought. Thassa was the cheapest of the original 5 gods in Theros. I think Helia, was it Perforos? No, Perforos was 4, Helia was 4. Naili was 5. You know what? Yeah, I think Naili actually was the most expensive god. Now I remember back. Thinking back. That and Helia. No, it might have actually been Erebos. Now I have to say it out loud. And it seems they've traded that up for Heliod being the most expensive mana costing for a god. But Thassa, Deep Dwelling, it sacrificed a little bit, 1 in cheapness in terms of its, or 1 in expense in terms of its casting costs for a bump in power. It's now 6/5, making it stronger making both it and Perforos actually stronger than what they were in Theros. Now, I wonder if there is a story reason why these two are actually stronger now than when they were back then. Maybe things have changed up in Theros where the devotion to these two particular gods has increased far more than the devotion to the other ones, or at least to a certain extent. But that said, we're looking at the actual card's abilities. And look, if you have an ETB, if you have Enter the Battlefield trigger, and you want to just bounce a card, I mean, we've seen a couple cards that have Enter the Battlefield effects. You could definitely use that in combination. I've heard people say that if you take control of one of your opponent's creatures, say with an act of treason, that you might be able to bounce it and then bounce it back onto the field, but I don't know if that would work. I will say though, if you're in the late game, this girl's already devoted up, turned into a creature, and they've only got maybe 1 or 2 creatures, maybe 3 creatures on the field, and you've already got at least a few creatures. Tapping down their creatures, that's always a viable strategy just to get some swings in. I will say this right now, not every god has been spoiled. Even though I have a Theros god deck, besides the new one, the God of Destiny, I already have all of the 5 original gods. And I'll be honest, they don't really have a home in that deck. Perforos is really at his best when either an artifact or a red artifact deck. Heliod might work out, but you're probably going to be better off with just a heavy creature deck instead of putting it in this giant multicolor pool of a deck that I have. Thassa is one that could work. Just because, but still, the other Thassa is cheaper to get out, and frankly, at least as good as it makes things unblockable. So, a similar play on that ability. Erebos wouldn't work out. Nail is the only one who could probably still fit in the current deck. Honestly, these guys, frankly, would probably be going just separate decks on their own, which is perfectly fine. They're gods. They're all good cards on some level. Oh god, Saprophagus Harpy. 1 black, 2 of any color for a 2/1 Harpy flying. Enters the battlefield, exile target card from the opponent's graveyard. It's fine. 3 mana for a 2/1 flyer. Not a bad stat. The fact that you do get a benefit of shield ability where you're exiling something that probably has escape in their grave, that's good too. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with that card at all. So yeah, Ash Phoenix. I've seen the art's not up for. I mean, it's up, but not on this like the list of things they have here. But I've seen it's basically like a cindered ashy vulture, which is kind of cool. That's on fire. 2 red to 1 of any color for a 2/2 flying haste Phoenix, or excuse me, Phoenix with flying and haste. So right off the bat, you're getting a 2/2 for 3 that swings immediately and has evasion. So that's beneficial. You can pump it up by at least 2 each turn. +2 +0 for 2 and a red, which means late game this bird's going to be cooking. This bird's actually going to be doing some tricks. But it also has a little bit of a benefit as well. With escape, 2 red, 2 of any color, exile 3 other cards from your grave, comes out with a +1 counter on it, means now you're already swinging for 3, and the ability to, pump it up more. Ash Phoenix is aggressive. It's definitely, it's proactive, certainly. Seeing as I remember the term I was looking for the last time I did a video, like, what is that word? Damn it, proactive. That was the term I was looking for. Look, I've always been a big fan of Phoenixes. Unfortunately, most of them aren't that good. I want to build a Phoenix. I've always wanted to build a Phoenix deck, but hardly any of them are good enough to make a Phoenix deck on. And the few that are pretty decent are just better off in other decks. So, one day I'll get that Phoenix deck, but today, it's just not this day. This day, we sulk because we can't have a Phoenix deck that's going to work. But still, Ash Phoenix looks like it's going to be a really powerful. Again, if you're in red and you get this card, and you can have multiple copies of this card, let's be very clear. You can have multiple copies of this card. Then yeah, you got a good way to win the game. Easy. Omen of the Forge, 1 red, 1 of any color for an enchantment. Common, flash. Ooh, this one has flash. That's interesting. Did the other ones have flash? I don't think they did. Oh no, okay, they all do have flash. All right, so you can treat them honestly as enchantments. Enters the battlefield. It deals 2 damage to any target for 2 mana, and then of course you pay the 3, 1 of the color, red in this case, 2 of any color, and you scry 2 and sacrifice this card, or vice versa. This is gonna be another really solid one. If you're in red and you get a couple of these, you definitely want to play them because they're bolts. They're not bolts, but they're shocks. Granted, they're shocks for 2, but they're doing 2 damage to anything you want. And then, especially in red, which scry in red does exist, but it's not as common as you'll get in blue or hell. I think white has more. Black, I think, has it more often. Hell, green. Honestly, I think red. It's either red or white that gets it the least. I think it's white. Now that I say it out loud. But yeah, the fact that you get to scry in red, yeah, and then the fact that you're just pinging it for 2, yeah, this card's good. This card's very good for common. It's fantastic. Okay. Let me see if I can get this damn name right. Caliphate, beloved of the. Let me see if I can get a full name there. Beloved of the Sea. Now we're getting introduced to the demigods in this set. And this is the blue demigod. We've actually met the white demigod. But this is the blue demigod. And it is 2 blue, 1 of any color for a star 3 legendary enchantment creature demigod. Its power is equal to your devotion to blue, which for blue to have a big hitter like that, because it's already going to be a 2/3 regardless. So as long as you got a couple extra creatures out there, you can easily get this to a 4 or 5, maybe even a 6, not without too much difficulty. But creatures and enchantments you control have spells your opponents cast that target this permanent costs 1 more to cast. So basically, it's a very low grade version of, not even hexproof. It's essentially making it harder for your opponent to target you, which is not a bad thing at all. So this is actually a pretty good card. Still, yeah, great. It's a good card. A good card is good. Okay, now this guy, I had to reread this when I found out what it was actually meant. So this is their version of Achilles, who, if you're not familiar with Greek mythology, real quick, Achilles, when it was said that he was dipped in a special, I believe he was dipped in like special water and blessed by the gods, by his mother, that his whole body would be invincible. However, because she had to hold him by the leg, the only thing that would eventually, his only weak spot was his heel, hence the term Achilles heel. And eventually he got hit by an arrow and he died. But this is Hakaros, the Unscarred. 2 white, 2 red for a 6/1 human warrior, a legendary creature rare. It attacks each combat if able. Now, it enters the battlefield. Choose at random 2, 3, or 4. Now, that's easy to do with either a 3-sided dice, if you can find one. That's not the easiest thing to find. But a 3-sided dice, or really you just use a 6-sided dice and just go like 1 and 2 equal 2, 3 and 4 equal 3, and then 5 and 6 equal 4. That's what you would do. But anyway, 2, 3, or 4 at random. It has protection from all converted mana costs other than the chosen number. That's weird, awesome, and messed up all in one. Essentially, if you got some really good removal, it's not going to freaking matter if you don't have the spell or creature to take this thing out. This thing doesn't have... Now, here's the thing. I actually think this card is easy to take out, quite frankly, with any sort of chump blocker, because if it's... just needs a converted... If it's weak to 2, all you need is... let's look at a creature that costs 2 right now from this set real quick. Give me a second. I'll find one. 1 second. There we are. Gaia, the Endless Dance. Now, that's a rare card, so maybe you won't have that. But you know what you can easily have? That's common. How about, I know this example exists here. Hold on. For love of God. There we go. Like Mire Triton or Towering Wave Mystic. There's your 2 water blockers. I'll easily take that guy out. Are you looking for the 3? I mean, look, uncommon. We already showed you that most of the demigods are probably going to be, Heliod is a 3. In fact, gods can't even block this guy. So that's how powerful this guy literally is. Like, not even the gods can stop him. You know, unless that god's converted mana cost has to be 3 or 4. And that's what he's weak to at the time. The only real issue you're going to face with this guy is his toughness is jack shit. is just shit. Which means all they need, if he's weak to 2 mana conversions or converted mana costs, is Omen of the Forge, for God's sake. Or a 2/2 for 2. If it's 3, Khalifi the Beloved, Wave Break Epicap. It's really not that hard to get around him after a little while. And he doesn't have haste. That's the thing. If this guy had haste, he probably would have actually been bumped up to Mythic. Because that means he attacks right on the first turn. That's 6 damage coming in if you're not careful. Yeah, giving this guy haste would have been overpowered. I mean, you can still give him haste with cards, but giving him haste would have been really overpowered. But I think he's actually pretty reasonably powered. Again, toughness. That's the only catch there. But again, with his ability, you can just get around that. Omen of the Sun. 1 white, 2 of any color for, again, enchantment, common, flash. Enters the battlefield, you create 2 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens, and then you gain 2 life. Then sacrifice for the 3, 1 white, 2 of any color, and you scry 2. Look, this is all advantage. For 3 mana, you're getting 2 bodies, and you're getting 2 life. That's a good ratio right there. And then you get the scry 3. Hey, or scry 2. Hey, I'm good with that. And because it's flash, you can cast this on your opponent's turn, and therefore you immediately can use it if you have no other creatures, like lost all your creatures through like burn spells or whatever. You can save your ass with some creatures and gain some life. So yeah, this is a great card. By the way, this expanded artwork for Pelucranos looks fantastic. I'm really digging these expanded art cards a lot. Shimmering Chimera. I'm trying to figure out what it's a chimera of. I think it's supposed to be a bird. I can tell it's a bird, a crab of some kind, and either a fish or maybe a snake. One of the two. But anyway, Shimmering Chimera is a 3/2 for 1 blue, 3 of any color. Enchantment creature Chimera. Uncommon. Flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, return up to 1 other target enchantment you control to its owner's hand. You know what? Honestly, I completely understand why this card exists, because this basically just bounce your omens back to your hand. Think about it. You can loop it with your Omen of the Forge and just continue to ping people. Oh, God, that's nasty. That's just sick. Get multiple. Oh, perfect scenario. Get multiple, because it's a common. I'm sure you can get at least 2 or 3. Maybe you'll luck out with 4. But Omen of the Forge, get 4 of those on the field. And then if you can get at least, I don't know, if you in theory could get 4 of these on the field, now you'd have to be playing them each turn, but still get multiple copies. If you can get like 2 copies of that on the field and maybe 2 copies of this guy, return, bounce, you could do a lot of damage fast. That will stack up. And even just doing that once. And plus, you can still do that with the other guys as well. I mean, with Thassa, you get to scry, draw a card. With Helide, you get creatures and you gain life. I believe we already went over Ereboses, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see here. I'm pretty sure we went over Ereboses. Let me check that real quick. I know we haven't went over Nihilese yet. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we didn't go over Ereboses. Yeah, it doesn't look like we did. But, all right. So we didn't go over Ereboses. By the way, this also bounces back, now that I just realized it, Sagas, which is really important, too, to get these Sagas effects, going again. Because that way you could either go all the way through, or you can just return the Saga and then play it again and keep getting that effect over and over again. So, yeah, it pairs extremely well with Sagas. Triumph of Anax. 1 red, 2 of any color for an uncommon. Saga, obviously you know the drill. When it comes out and right after you draw, you get to put a counter on it, and then when you get to the final one, sacrifice it. This one has 4, and all 4 or all of the first 3 are until end of turn, target creature gets trampled plus X plus O, where it's the number of lore counters you have. When you get to 4, target creature you control fights 1 target creature you don't control. Okay, that's fine. It's only 3 mana, so it's decent. There's not much I can say on that one. That's pretty lackluster. The first the first Eroan games, Eronus, the god. 1 green, 2 of any color, Saga. When it enters the battlefield, you put a 1/1 white human creature token onto the field, which is interesting because it's green. When you hit 2, you put 3 plus minus. +1 minus. Oh, that's new. Oh, okay, no, sorry. I was misreading it. I was about to say it was a +1 -1. I'm like, that's new. But no, put 3 +1 counters on target creature you control. I'm assuming you're supposed to try to put it on that, but you could easily put it on something else. Pelucanos, for example. If you control a creature of power 4 or greater, draw 2 cards. Obviously, supposed to play off that. And then you can create a gold artifact token, which I'm guessing is going to act the same way as that. That's a good question. Hold on one second here. Is it the same gold artifact token that we got last time? I'll have to look into that, because if it is, it's nothing more than treasure. That's all it is. So why wouldn't they just say treasure? I'm not sure about that. Otherwise, is that something new? Well, we'll see. Timeret, chosen from the dead. Now, I have his actual original card we got from Theros, but clearly he's been promoted/demoted to Demigod. 2 black for a 2-star Demigod uncommon. Toughness is equal to your devotion to black, so it's always going to be a 2/2 at least. You can pay 1 black, 1 of any color, exile 2 target cards from graveyards. Doesn't specify a graveyard, so that means both. You gain 1 life for each creature card exiled this way, which means this is another way to prevent escape from happening on your opponent. It's a good card. That effect is really not expensive at all. You can activate each turn if you really want to, gain life. As long as you're able to keep your field up, you'll definitely be able to give it a bigger butt. So yeah, it's a good card, absolutely. Pious Wayfarer, yeah, Wayfarer. There we go. 1 white for a 1/2 human scout common constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gets +1/+1 until the end of turn. It's a good little boost card. Nothing amazing, but for a 1-drop, it's good. It's serviceable. Nothing to really go over. Nothing to write home about. Till then, though, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I got who would win today, and then I'm going to be done. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Later.